Do you guys buy into the idea that the winner of Stipe and DC Part 3 is the greatest of all time? Because if you do buy into that, and I do, then we are conceding that the loser is not. And in I mean, that's very unfair. That's cutthroat right there. But how do you look at it any other way? They're going to go into a true trilogy, and one of them's leaving. So there is no chance of four. There's many sports where two guys, one guy's just got another guy's number. It's just the way it goes. It's a matchup. But you put them into a tournament, you put them into some kind of bracket, there's a couple of guys that can beat the guy who could beat the other guy, but nobody else can. So that guy goes on and becomes champion, while the guy that can beat him ends up third or fifth or seventh or does not place. As long as that bracket gets drawn and they're on opposite sides, this guy's going to cruise to the gold medal. We see that all the time where you just have some matchup issues. We got one of them going right now in the world of grappling. Who's the world's best grappler? Gordon. Okay, great. But Vinny beat Gordon. Okay, then Vinny's the best. Yeah, but Craig beat Vinny. Okay, yeah, good point. Craig's the best. Yeah, okay, but Gordon beat Craig. It's one of these things. And it's fun and it's debatable, and there's never a hard out. There's never a hard out because they're all still active. They're going to meet up again. Whether it's in one-on-one straight competition or they're in their same bracket. And whoever comes out with a further placement and advancement will be able to have a discussion built around them. It's one of these really weird things. You also fall into a trap of the greatest of all time or the greatest resume of all time. I will hear the debate about Jordan versus LeBron. And I used to hear that, Jordan had 6 rings and LeBron had 4 rings. As though that proved who the better player was. And it's very tough in some of these team sports. It's just a little bit tougher to see it. I'll see Phil Jackson, by example, not get credit for the great coach that he was because people then will quickly come back and say, well, yeah, but if you have Pippen and you have Jordan on the same team, of course you're going to have the winning team. Where he goes over to the Lakers, but he's got Kobe and he's got Shaq on the same team. Then he's not this great coach. I mean, it's just one of those things where it's a little bit tougher in a team atmosphere to see than it is in a sport like this. And you also have, here's the problem with resumes, is the sport grows so rapidly. By example, if you were to look at the greatest middleweight of all time, that is going to go to Anderson Silva. That's going to go to Anderson Silva because you can't match his paper. You can't match his span. You can't match his number of main events and number of titles defenses. You just can't do it. I think there is a very meaningful argument that Luke Rockhold was the greatest middleweight of all time. Now, Luke's window was very short. He was champion, and all of a sudden he wasn't champion. I understand his window was small, but within that window, Luke Rockhold was a lot to deal with. You didn't want to punch with him. You damn sure didn't want to kick with him. Try to get him tired. Good luck at that. Not going to happen. And you don't want to be underneath him. Luke Rockhold on top is as good as anybody the sport's ever seen. Truly. Luke is as good as anybody the sport's ever seen at being on top. He'll not only pound you out, he'll pass, he'll mount, he'll submit you, he'll annoy you the entire time. He's either looking to stretch something or he's looking to break something with strikes. A lot to deal with. Luke will never get that credit. The window was too small. But if you're having a debate on who the best was, does it have to be over longevity? I think that's a fair point to bring up. I'm just sharing with you, if that's the only point you attempt to bring up, you will miss some of the skills. You miss many of the things that happen. The fighters and the athletes that are coming out on top, that are able to make weight, that are able to go to different countries, different time zones, deal with all of the new restrictions, still walk out there in a sport where mental capacity directly relates to performance, ability, and outcome. It's tremendous. Many people will never be tested like that. They just won't. How? I don't think you should downgrade a Sugar Ray Leonard or a Mike Tyson or Muhammad Ali by example because they never fought in an empty building. world didn't call for that at the time. You see what I'm saying? Just things change and things get different. So it gets very tough how you're going to look at something and how you're going to analyze something. And there's some people that it really doesn't. Does Billy Joel need another hit? Did Elvis Presley need another record-breaking album? It's one of those things. Does he, or does he still get to go down as the king? No, excuse me. Elvis is still the king.